Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Maryanne Savino, and I'm here with Suzanne Lie, who is a channel for the Galactics, and we're here to talk about the current energies and how we can find peace in the midst of the chaos that we're experiencing here in the world right now. And we have a wonderful webinar coming up in September. And we thought it would be nice to come in and have a conversation with the Galactics about the current energies and where we're headed. And I think we're in a very exciting time. And we have opportunities to step into our power, to really connect with our higher selves, and to expand our energy into our multidimensional selves. And so this is a time for great change, and this is a time to really come into that part of yourself that perhaps maybe we sometimes deny, maybe because of challenges and traumas that we've encountered. But here we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne and hear what she and the Galactics have to say about what we're experiencing right now. Hi, Suzanne.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine. Despite the lack of sky, which is filled with smoke, which is one of the things that we're having going on here on the West Coast, the whole coast, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So finding peace in the storm is something that we're all having to go through, isn't it, in different ways?
Yeah.
And that is what brings in great power, is when we really need that power and we look for that power, our own inner power, then we can find it. And then once we find it, we could use it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I think that we have to also remind ourselves that, you know, we chose to come down here and take an earthly incarnation to help assist with, you know, Mother Gaia and her shift into this great awakening. And we're here, we volunteered to be here for it. And even though sometimes it can be chaotic and challenging, that doesn't mean that we can't find the peace within it. So I'm curious to hear what the Galactics have to say about it and what they can share with all of us, to assist us, to guide us.
First, remember to believe that there are higher dimensional beings, and that these higher dimensional beings is mostly a higher dimensional frequency of your own self. And it is that connection of your third dimensional grounded physical self, remembering your higher dimensional, multi-dimensional self, and connecting them both again. Because in the midst of coming to Earth to rescue Gaia, because from where we were in our higher frequency selves, there isn't time and space in the same manner that there is in a physical world. Where we are in our higher selves, we live within the here and we live within the now. And from that here and now, we could see that the now that you are now experiencing was ripe. And by ripe, we mean like the apple falls from the tree when it's ripe. And that's what is happening. You are ready to fall from that tree that once bound you to whomever you thought that you should be, and take roots into the you that you are now remembering, that not just that you can be, but that you already are, but you forgot. So you don't have to be a better person. You just have to remember that you already are.
So this is, in a sense, this is a great awakening to remembering who we actually are.
Yes.
And it's not so much that it's like, yes, we are awakening, but it's an awakening to the divine remembrance.
Awakening to the divine remembrance.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel that. You know, I think
Yeah.
what happens when we take a physical human incarnation, when we come in, we kind of come in with this amnesia and we forget who we are in our purest sense. And as we, you know, as we grow up, you know, we start remembering little glimpses and sensations and memories start to spark us, and like, oh, where was that from? You know, where did that come from? And because I think there's a great feeling of separation at first, like, who am I? What am I doing here? What is the real meaning of my life? Why am I here? And it can sometimes be a bit daunting, I think, to our human ego mind, that it doesn't understand, because there's such a major shift happening here. And when there's, you know, fires raging and tsunamis and hurricanes, and then there's, you know, human destruction going on, it can be very daunting to the human psyche, and it can be rather uncomfortable. And so I think the mind goes into a panic state. Uh-oh, what am I going to do with this? I have no idea what to do with this. And that's the time to go to the higher self of that remembrance.
Yes, that's the time to remember that you are a multidimensional being. And in order to have this incarnation on this physical world, you needed to encompass yourself in a third dimensional physical body. However, you are in constant contact with your higher dimensional aspects of self. What the challenge is to remember that. Because your higher dimensional self isn't going to intrude upon you in any manner. Because your higher dimensional self knows that you will best learn by remembering who you are. And it is the remembrance of who you are, that you are not just this physical person, that you are also a higher dimensional experience. Just like when you're 2, you're getting ready to be 3, and you're getting ready to be 4. And so where many people were on that second dimensional expression of reality, where it's just survival, just get me through the day, just get me through the day. And then they grow up enough, you know, and they go more into this higher third dimensional, where they feel like, wait, I can get myself through the day, it's time. And then this glorious thing happens, is that you begin to realize that there's this other you that's of a higher frequency.
Right.
And you can't see this you with your physical self, but
Right.
you can feel it so strong inside of yourself.
It
Just feel
really
like,
is, yeah, it really is a feeling sense. It's like that multi-dimensional, multi-sensory of just not only, you know, we think so much with our minds, we're in the minds, but if we can drop out of the mind into that sensory of feeling, the
yeah,
feeling of our divinity, the feeling of of remembering that our soul comes from pure love. It already is, but that separation, when we incarnate it into the 3D form, we forget it. And I believe that this ascension journey, as they call it, this great awakening to remembering, is helping us to remember that, you've forgotten your divinity. So let's stir things up a bit to help you remember.
Yes. And your divinity isn't that you're a physical person and then there's just some whatever divinity is. Your divinity is that you're actually a galactic human.
Right.
You are a galactic human. And you volunteered, not knowing exactly how challenging that would be. You volunteered to allow this great fourth, fifth, sixth dimensional being that you are within your own self. Look at the small percentage of the brain that's actually used in daily life. What's the rest of that brain do? Well, the rest of your brain is your own higher dimensional self. So, but we don't know the code to open up that part of the brain.
Right.
And so there's this process of learning. What button do I push? Who do I ask? How do I open up to this galactic being? But there is like a process. You're the physical being, and then you're the creative being. And then you realize that you want to assist and help and be a channel through which higher information can flow. And then as you allow this higher information to flow through you, you realize that it is actually coming from you, your own higher dimensional self.
Right. I can really resonate with that. When I go into my frightened inner child who's been wounded and traumatized, it's so easy to like go back into that old pattern. But then if I can just remind myself, wait a second, that trauma isn't happening anymore. It did happen. I'm going to honor it and acknowledge it. But somewhere inside of me is this pure divine source that chose, as you said, to be a volunteer here on Mother Gaia for this incredible experience that we're in, this rare and unique journey of ascension. And to help me remember, sometimes it's when I have to go back to that original wound. Now, I don't have to relive it, but it's just the reminder that this did happen, but it isn't happening anymore. And I'm here to tell you or remind you that you are pure love, you are pure light, and you just forgotten. It's like when we incarnate, we come into that separation. But once we start to remember, oh, wait a second, this beautiful feeling that I push away sometimes, it's here. It's never left me. It's just that the awareness of my purity gets clouded by what happened in the past. And now I get to choose. I don't have to hold on to that old pattern. I can now release myself from it.
Yes, because now humanity more and more is beginning to realize that if they're just using that small portion of their brain, what would happen if they use that larger portion of their brain? If they just use that little bit of their creativity, what happened if they use more of their creativity? And if they dared to believe what they had in a dream, or what they saw in a meditation, or what suddenly came into their being as a light, and actually share it with other people. Because there are so many people, more and more. You and I, we have talked to so many people.
Yes.
And of all of these people that we've talked to, None of them are shocked when I talk about the galactics, when I talk about ascension, when I talk about all that stuff. They're not, they don't run behind the covers.
No,
People are really ready. You've noticed that too,
I've
right?
yeah, people who have never heard of Ascension, or they don't, they're not familiar or aware of it, at least. I put a lot of posts on my Facebook page, because I am someone who's been working with this ascension journey for many, many years. And I get from people that don't know me that said, "Oh, I hope it's okay that I'm messaging you because so and so showed me your post, and everything you said made so much sense, and I thought I was going crazy. But when I saw the things that you wrote, I realized, wow, this resonates with me. I can relate to this, but I just didn't understand it. But now I have a little bit more of an understanding. So I think it's really important that we all have a voice, share, whatever we're experiencing, even though we each have our own individual and unique experience, we are still on this journey together, to be a mirror, to help each other, to grab the hands of the persons on either side and say, we're not alone in this. I'm here with you. We're here together,
Yes,
and move forward with that.
yes. It is that togetherness, it's that unity consciousness. Because when there is a sense of unity consciousness, then you can feel that it's safe. I had this weird dream, but I'm sure that it wasn't just a dream. I really felt like it just happened. And if the other people say, oh, yeah, yeah, right, sure. Well, that's not helpful. But if the other people say, yeah, I had this weird experience myself, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I couldn't tell anybody because I was afraid they'd think I was crazy. I remember myself, Sue Lee, back, I was like the first webinar up. And so here I am talking about Arcturians. No one even knew what an Arcturian was. I didn't know what an Arcturian was. But I did know that there was a certain feeling inside that was the same feeling I had whenever I was doing, well, I did go to church and I did believe in Jesus. That was okay because everybody believed in Jesus, so I could believe in Jesus, you know. And I had a personal relationship with Jesus, but I didn't tell anybody that because they'd think I was crazy or conceited. But it's not crazy or at all conceited to be able to admit, yes, I speak with higher dimensional beings. I feel them in my heart. I hear them in my mind, and they tell me things. And they tell me to do things. Like at the very beginning with me, they told me to write a website. I was the first website. I didn't know what a website was. And I said, okay, sure, write a website. And then a girlfriend called right after that and said, oh, hi, how you doing? And I said, I had this weird thing. And I got this thing in my head that said, write a website. And she said, oh, cool. Yeah, good. I'll write the website for you. But she made the format and, I put the stuff in. But it was like, wow, I got this instant physical, yes, you're not crazy. Yes, there is such a thing as a website and you get one right now.
Amazing. Wow. So do the Arcturians or Galactics have a message that they'd like to share with us about this finding peace in the midst of this storm, this chaos, that they can give us some insight of what we can do?
Greetings. We are the Arcturians, as well as the Palladians and the Antaurians and the Venusians and all of the higher dimensional galactic beings that are surrounding beloved planet Gaia within this now. Not so much surrounding them in a physical manner that you could look up on your telescope, but surrounding them with their love and light. And they are sending this love and light to you in your meditations, in your dreams, in your walks through the woods, in when you hold a baby or hug a good friend. All of these physical, supposedly third dimensional activities are opening doors that open far beyond the physical and higher into this higher dimension. Like there's that fourth dimension where you get all these creative outlets. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And you surprise yourself at first. Wow, I did that picture. I wrote that thing. I chose to go to that place. Wow, where did I get that guidance? But that was really cool. I wanted to find out how I knew that was going to be such a cool thing. And so you begin your research and you begin to look around. And it's through the looking that you get the finding.
Wow, that's great. So I'm getting some messages that are coming in as the language of the soul, the language of the light that I speak from the Galactics. And they say, you know, this language is within you. It comes from the greater cosmic essence of the universe, but it is also within. So it is an infinite expression of your soul. And so I give this beautiful blessing for these times of chaos to help us not only find the peace, but to maintain it whenever we're feeling out of sorts.
And that I just wanted to re-say it, an infinite expression of soul.
Yes.
So beautiful. If you're here, if you're listening, write that down. Write that down. Write it down 10 times. Put it on stickies. Put it on your telephone. Put it on your refrigerator. Put it on your cupboards. I am an infinite expression of soul.
Mm-hmm.
And the words I am are very powerful.
Yes.
I am is when you you dug the hole by doing your work and you put the tree in the hole and you fill it in with fertilizer and you push it all down. That's when you're saying, I am. I have
Claiming your
taken
power.
root. Yes.
So, with that, I'm going to offer this blessing to all of you listening, that you may find the peace that indwells right within inside of your own heart. Haro kia tona soria shatiara kwai senoyar. Hiakorum antuai iara naso katuai shatalua. Miaran unzar otel aloa quai iaran oshem oriataia. Aloalearon, haruanian, oniasai okoran. Okoria shatuaiaron. Me kuasai alal. Aloaviaron, iaron, equamoia. Makuatiara sut shatuaiatal. Haluayai, aquaran, oran, iran, osal, atuayasai, makuataya. To your beautiful hearts we speak to you, to help you remember that you are of the purest love that exists within this universe, and that you've taken this beautiful love that is pure onto the earth plane to assist with this grand awakening. And Mother Gaia is unconditionally loving. So to continue to give that love of the purity within you to our beautiful Mother Gaia. Kuran o seran o shia moria taiar. Hiaran o saturat. Asuaria o makwa yatina yahon ata. Kiara kiara iran ot ediaro ma qua ia. Si ashoma ia. Aluatian odai atua iaquatua iasa. And so it is. Many blessings.
And we, the Arcturians, wish to remind you all that this is the now. This is the now. Open up your hearts. Open up your minds. Set your feet strongly on the body of beloved Gaia. Feel your roots go down into her heart and soul. As you reach your hands and your third eye right up into the sky and feel the ships that are circling. They are there, but they resonate to a fifth dimensional frequency and beyond. And so only those with expanded states of consciousness are able to experience them in a daily, natural manner. And it is the grounding of those higher frequencies, such as those that you spoke of so beautifully in that language that we would say is the language of love.
That's
And we say to all of you, from we the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Antarians, the Venusians, and your entire galactic family, we are your sisters and brothers. We are always with you. We are here to assist Gaia to free herself from the limitations of her third, fourth dimensional beingness and to awaken to her true fifth dimensional planetary self. And as that occurs for the planet, it will occur for all the beings that share their life with Gaia's planet.
And so it is. How beautiful. Thank you
And
so
so it
much
is.
for this time, for taking your time out, Suzanne, and for the Galactics who showed up here to assist us. We are blessed beyond measure. I'm hearing they're saying that we are also loved beyond measure. And we have a special webinar coming up that I'd like to mention. Remembering Our Soul's Mission, a conversation with the Galactics through Suzanne Lie and Maryanne Savino. That's me. And we have this happening on Zoom. It is Wednesday, September 16th. And it's going to be at 12 noon Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be about 75 minutes and the cost is $22. And I will be putting out more information with a full description out on my Facebook page, and more information will go into it. So if there are any questions, we can be reached. I'll also put some information on how to reach us via email. Suzanne, is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
No, I think that we have it pretty well summed up. And just remember that the darkest night is just before dawn. And it is the courage that we gain from walking through that darkest night that allows us to have the power to open up to the new dawn.
So beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So we send each and every one of you beautiful blessings, and remember who you are. Remember that you are pure love, pure light, who came into a human form and who are already making a great difference just by being here. So we thank you for this time, and we look forward to sharing with you again. Many bright, beautiful blessings and lots of love. Bye bye.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.